There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz.jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.
Alright, so good morning everybody. Welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live at Rizal Technological University. So today we will be joined by speakers from ADP, Cognizant, and Transcom. So before we start, may we invite everybody for a short prayer, followed by the singing of the national anthem and the RTU march.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below.
mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Okay, so again, welcome everyone. Ready na ba kayo? I hope ready na. So by the way, my name is Joyce from Academic Linkages. I will be your today's host. And we are live, guys, via Jobs 180 Facebook and YouTube page. So we hope that everybody is excited to learn new things today, okay? So to officially start today's session, may we invite Engineer Dolores Cruz, the Faculty and Program Chair of BS Computer Engineering and College Secretary of CAT, ISO Local Auditor, College Local Accreditor, and President of the CAT Faculty Club for the opening remarks.
I would like to express my warmest greetings to the RTU administration, COE Director, Engineer Armando P. Matias, to my fellow coordinators, to our dear students, and to all the participants of this webinar. Your presence today is not by chance. This may be a required activity as part of the interim policy of Phase 1, but much more because I know that you are all enthusiastic after attending the first webinar session last Monday. This second webinar session shall focus on the following topics: shifting to a digital career, improving communication skills, exploring work from home jobs. I commend the organizers, the COE Center, for their efforts since the start of the pandemic. They have been proactive in preparing programs that will able to assist all the enrollees of COE in our university, ensuring that no one is left behind. Jobs 180, Mr. Kim Chua, thank you for always partnering with us in this endeavor. and empowering our student with this knowledge. For 2 years, this pandemic has really changed our lives. There are restrictions in all places, health protocols, and changing alert levels. But this should not be a hindrance to what we want to be. Life must certainly continue. We should work for the betterment of our life. We are not allowed to apply to conduct on-site OJT, but it does not mean that you need to stop. Study harder, work for it. But work without faith is nothing. Patience is a virtue. Soon you will reach your goals, pandemic or not. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Dolly, for gracing our event today. So as usual, for our audience today, please comment your name, your course, and your year. And if you have questions later on, please type them in so we can answer them after the talk. So much better po if ngayon pa lang prepared na yung questions nyo para later ready na yung questions for the speakers. And of course, don't forget to tag and share this to your friends too. So kung wala pa sila dito, tawagin nyo na kasi nakapanghinayang naman if ma-miss nila itong opportunity na ito, 'di ba? Okay? So, here is our schedule for today. So, we have Exploring Work from Home Jobs by ADP Philippines, Shifting to a Digital Career by Cognizant Philippines, and Improving Communication Skills by Transcom. So, yan po yung mga topics na tatalakayan natin today. And of course, again, shout out to everyone who is here na. Again, please comment your name, your year, and your course. Okay, so as we go along, type in your questions so we can read it later. Sabi ko nga, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong. This is your chance to ask, guys, before you face the real adulting thing or the world of work. Okay? So if you're ready, kilalanin na po natin ang ating unang speaker for today. So first, we have Ms. Potch, who has been in the BPO industry since 2007, a former member of the academe. She has been part of HR training and operations upon joining the corporate industry. With ADP, she has handled niche and volume hiring and is currently also one of those tasked to manage the hiring platform for Philippines talent acquisition. Again, the recruiter from ADP Philippines, Miss Potch Tort. Hi, Miss Potch. Good morning po.
Hi, Joyce. Good morning.
All
Good
right.
morning,
So, ma'am, can
RTU.
we test your share screen, ma'am?
Sure. Let me do this. Alrighty. Can we see my screen, Joyce?
I'm loading po. All right. It's up po. So, ma'am, if you're ready, I'll leave it to it po. You have 20 minutes. I'll ask you po after 20 minutes for the Q&A. Good luck, Miss Potch.
Okay. Thank you, Joyce. And good morning, RTU. So, as the first speaker for today, I have been tasked to discuss with you exploring work from home jobs. Of course, it's a different world right now. We've been in the pandemic, in the thick of the pandemic for the past 2 years. So, definitely, this is a topic worth talking about. But do note that when it comes to work from home jobs or any job for that matter, um, off the bat, before I even begin discussing, flexibility is the key. So, as potential employees, for potential employers, we all have to be flexible with regard to our expectations. So, let me begin by sharing with you first who we are, who ADP is. So, ADP Philippines or ADP, which stands for Automatic Data Processing, is one of the world's largest providers of business outsourcing solutions and services for human capital management. So, what is human capital management? Human capital management essentially are HR functions. So, those functions include payroll, recruitment, timekeeping, attendance, tax compliance, benefits systems, and IT. So, we focus on our clients' biggest investment, challenge, and opportunity, which is their people. We take care of HR functions for our clients so that they can focus on what they do best. Essentially, what we do is we take away the labor of HCM from the client so that they can focus on what their business truly is. Just to give you sort of a small example, sorry, let me just go back to that other screen. In other countries and even in our country, sometimes businesses are not as big to have their own HR services within the company. So what ADP does is that we provide those types of services for them. So in a way, when they outsource their HR functions, we take care of those HR functions for them, so that, let's say you are a small flower shop, a small coffee shop, a small restaurant, or a medium size or a big size company, you don't have to worry about your employees' HR needs anymore. ADP will be the one to take care of those for the clients. So, a little something about the company. The company itself is established in 1949, and these are the numbers that we are currently proud of with regard to what ADP has achieved. And we are recognized around the industry with our leadership awards. So, joining ADP would mean joining a highly recognized employer. And for ADP, both global and local, ADP Philippines, our core values are compressed into these 7 items. So integrity is everything, insightful expertise, service excellence, inspiring innovation, each person counts, results driven, and social responsibility. So, as a potential employee, why should one choose ADP? Definitely, we pride ourselves in our growth. We pride ourselves in our stability, and we pride ourselves in our culture. Think about this: each company will always need an HR. You will always need someone to take care of the payroll. You will always need someone to take care of the taxes. You will always need someone to hire for you and to help your people retire properly. So that itself means that the culture or the need for HR is always there. So it talks about the stability. And because of that, we are constantly growing, constantly hiring, constantly expanding, even through this pandemic. And the culture of the company is highly regarded. And one of our current taglines right now is that ADP is one of those companies that are tagged as best places to work. So let me share with you, before we proceed to jobs at home, let me share with you the idea of recruiting from home. Definitely, given that the pandemic has changed our lives, it has also changed how we as a company are recruiting our candidates. So the process is still the same, the situation is just a little bit different. So this is our recruitment process. ADP does sourcing, ADP talent acquisition, or the local hiring team. We divided the process into 4 main areas. So sourcing, talent acquisition, the hiring manager stage, and the onboarding stage. So if you are to apply with ADP, consider the first stage to be the sourcing stage, in which we are to get the profile. So we source the profile. So how do we start that? We start that with resume review. For the resume review, we get the resumes from our partner sources. So Jobs 180 is one of our partner sites. Of course, there's the usual LinkedIn, and also there's the company portal. The Jobs 180 site also ties into the company portal. So no problem with regard to your data being transferred from your Jobs 80 portal all the way to your ADP portal. It kind of flows together. After that, what follows is pre screening and scheduling. Now, the pre screening and scheduling is done by our scheduling partners. We have a sourcing team. It's also done by our HR interns. So they also take part in that. And it's also done by recruiters, similar to myself. So this is a job that's actually done by a lot of people, because evidently there are a number of applications that come in, and when these applications come in, people need to sort it out, weed through what's qualified and what's fit for other positions. And after that, we request the candidates to complete their profiles in the ADP recruiter management system, So you start off your profile at one point, so either at LinkedIn, at the ADP portal, or the Jobs 180 site. And then we have to take your profile to the recruiter management system, wherein you have to complete the remaining requirements for the data to be able to go through. As I always say, we're not called automatic data processing for nothing. So everything is online, everything is done via the recruiter management system, which we are a part of the management team of that as well. What follows is the talent acquisition stage. So for the talent acquisition stage, this is taken care of by our recruiters. Currently, we have four full-time recruiters. Wait, sorry, we have three full-time recruiters and four part-time recruiters. So when we say part-time recruiters, they're doing other tasks aside from their normal recruiting tasks. So initial interview is done via phone. For other companies, we know that some of them do initial interview via video already, but for us, we prefer to do it via phone. It's easier to access candidates via phone, given the current situation. It's a minimum of 30 minutes, and during this time, we do the key background review, the communication skills assessment, and also the checking of their fits. So job fit, motivation fit, and behavior. Pretty much saying that just because one can speak good English doesn't necessarily mean they're automatically qualified. So it's not just about the comms, it's also about the background qualifications. And definitely, we have to check if you are fit for the job, motivated enough to have the job, and also if your behavior is a fit for what we need. If you are successful with the talent acquisition stage, you move on to the hiring manager stage. And who are these hiring managers? These hiring managers are your operations team, your TL, your manager, your director. This can be a second level interview. So, first being the recruiter, second being the hiring manager. This can also be considered a final interview if that's the only interview that you will have, and then straight to job offer. But also, this can also be only a second interview, and then there's a third or a fourth, depending on the level of the role and the need for the role. So definitely for operations analyst roles, we're looking at pretty much just one hiring manager interview. But if we're looking at TLs, managers, directors, we're looking at maybe three or four interviews down the line. Uh, the bigger the role, the more the levels, so to speak. Um, Primary thing that they check here would be job fit. They need to know if the person that they are hiring for fits the job, because as a hiring manager, they know the job better, they know the needs better. So that's why it's called a hiring manager stage. And if you are successful with that one, the last stage will be the onboarding stage. And for the onboarding stage, this is care of the recruiter and the onboarding team. So the person whom you spoke with at the talent acquisition stage will go back to you and will share with you the contract, the contract, and this will be done via phone call or via video. And the requirements will also be discussed with you also via phone call or via video. This will be taken care of by our onboarding coordinator. So hiring is a team effort, all of which are done online right now. No in person communication at this stages. Um, for two reasons. Number one, given the pandemic situation, and number two, limited movement in the office. Currently, in the office, they only allow employees to come in. So, visitors and applicants, as much as possible, are not allowed to visit the office unless for transactions like getting their peripherals in preparation for the work from home setup. So that's the process. So jobs at ADP. So as mentioned, the topic is about exploring work from home jobs. But as I also mentioned earlier, right now, key is flexibility. Definitely, a lot of companies right now will promise work from home jobs. But how long will it be? We don't know. How soon will we be asked to go back to the office? To be honest, we don't know. Legally, we're not allowed to promise anything to anyone. We do not guarantee that if you apply, and get hired that it will be full work from home forever and ever. Amen. Nobody can guarantee that. So the opportunities are available right now. They are there, but we cannot promise that they will be there forever. So, what we ask, or what I personally ask from my candidates when I interview them, is that they be open and flexible, because everything right now is very fluid. We originally had a timeline of when we will be back to work, but that timeline is adjusted once again given the new variants, and who knows what will happen in the next few days. So, what I ask of you as candidates, as potential candidates, is to be open and flexible to all opportunities, not only from ADP, but perhaps from all companies that will be speaking today. Because, like what I said, it's all flexible, it's all open right now. We just have to be ready for anything. So, what are our current openings for ADP Philippines? Operation support, which includes payroll, timekeeping, and recruitment, among many things. Accounting, both local and global accounting. Shout out, I handle that. IT support, this is for our internal partners. What do we mean by internal? These are not IT jobs for our global partners. Right now, our openings are for support within the team. Sales support, these are for our external partners. Not necessarily outbound sales, just to clarify, but these are support for our sales teams. So you yourself will not be selling, but you will be providing support for people who do sell. And then HR internships, as mentioned earlier, for our sourcing team, our HR team would tap interns to join them and help them in closing off our opportunities. So let me go back to the first bullet, operations, first item rather, operation support. It's the biggest chunk of our hiring. We are constantly and rapidly adding to our pool, constantly and rapidly expanding. Um, if you are in the field of, for those who take up psych or HR administration, you are aware of what we do as HR support. So, in a company, as I mentioned earlier, you usually need someone to take care of your payroll, to take care of your e-time or timekeeping, to recruit people, to assist people toward retirement, to manage all the HR needs. And companies, big and small, internationally, sometimes they don't have the bandwidth to do that anymore. So they go to us. They buy our tool, which is the ADP tool, and we provide support with that tool. We manage their payroll, we manage their e-time, their electronic time system, and we manage how they hire people and how they onboard people and all that. There's a misconception that ADP is a financial company. We're not exactly in the field of finance when we talk about operations, but we assist them toward getting their payroll. So people think, okay, payroll money. Yes and no, because when you take care of payroll, you take care of how they get their money, how they manage that. So all of these openings right now, if you ask me right now, Miss Potch, are these work from home jobs? Um, the best answer for that is yes and no. Yes and no. We are following IATF guidelines right now. 30% of our pool is currently on site. The remaining percent is on hybrid. They go to work when needed. They stay at home when the opportunity provides for them. Training is also on a hybrid setup. Some jobs train on site, some jobs train off site. Um, at present, everyone is provided their own devices, so that if they are asked to go to work but cannot, they can do work from home. If they are not asked to go to work, they can do work from home. But essentially, going back to what I said earlier, we cannot promise, and we do not want to promise that it will be forever work from home. I myself am working from home right now, but if there are instances wherein I have to go to the office, I do go to the office. So there is a need for flexibility for all of us who are part of ADP at the moment. All right, cool. To close off, let me share with you the ADP Jobs 180 site. So, our link with Jobs 180 is https colon slash slash jobs180.com slash ADP. So, we have linked our job portal to this. All of our openings are there and available for you to access. So, hopefully, you guys from RT, you can take a look at it, see if any of it fit your preference right now, see if some of them are interesting enough to you, and take the opportunity to consider us for your future careers. That's it. Joyce?
All right, so thank you so much, Miss Potch. All right, so guys, the floor is now open for questions. So if you have questions for Miss Potch, ayan, so you can ask now. Huwag kayong maya. Okay. I think may nakita akong question kanina, Miss Potch. So one moment.
Sure.
Here. So the question is, Miss Potch, can we apply after graduation in the operation support team?
Sure. Applications are continuously open. We've never closed.
Mm-hmm.
We tapered down a little during March 2020 until maybe October of 2020. But after that, it's been full steam ahead. We've been constantly expanding. Because ADP is specialized in its nature. I've worked for other BPOs before, so the main difference between ADP is that we're focused on those particular needs. So HR needs HCM. Um, our hiring is definitely not as big as a regular third party BPO, but our hiring is still big considering that we are a niche type of market.
Mm-hmm.
In a month, we're looking at about 80 headcount, 50 to 80. So still big for specialty hiring. Usually for some specialty hiring companies, they only hire like 20, 30 in a month. But for us, we're looking at 50, 80, sometimes even 100 plus in a month. So even if it's focused on HR, it's still continuous hiring. Even after graduation, feel free, even after your 1 month gap break or whatever, if you want to rest first,
Mm-hmm.
feel free.
So basically, sir, Ms. Poch, it's applicable po for fresh grads or with no experience. Is this correct po?
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. Okay, ma'am. So next question po. Good day po, nag-accept po ba kayo ng fresh graduates, no experience? Ayun, kaka-ask ko lang ng question, no?
Yes,
Ayan.
yes.
All right. So, ayan. So, yan guys. So, pwedeng-pwede. And of course, good morning po. Question lang po. Kahit po intern or OJT po ba, provided po ba ang devices na gagamitin po? Thank you po.
Unfortunately, for interns and OJT, it's a different setup. So devices are not provided for them because they're not contract employees. So there's no
Mm-hmm.
responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the responsibility is what's the term is given to those who are employed with ADP. It's even in the contract that you have to be liable for the assets.
All right. Okay. So next question, ma'am. Meron pa. Are you accepting interns po for financial management students?
Right now, there's no active openings for finance interns. You can feel free to send in your resume. We can pull it, but in terms of what is active right now, I have to say there's none at the moment.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So next, ma'am, good morning po. Saan po ang location niyo, ma'am?
Okay, ADP Philippines is located at the Glorieta 2 Corporate Center. So the official address is Palm Drive in Makati. And if you're familiar with the Ayala Mall complex, yung Glorieta 1, Glorieta 2, Glorieta 3, Landmark, SM, those things. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in one of the buildings. They built corporate buildings. Our entrance is right beside No Nose and Mini Stop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. And
Pero
next
right
po,
now nga majority 70% is working from home. Yeah.
mm-mm. And they can apply online naman po, di ba? Mm-mm.
Yes, and all
Ayan.
processes right now for application are online. The only physical thing that you will do really is that if you get hired, you will take your medical, so that's physical, and then
Mm-mm.
you will get your device, which is also
Mm.
physical. Kasi hindi siya pinapa-deliver for security.
Okay. Mm-mm. All right, ma'am. So here, another question from Miss Erica Jones. What are the changes happened within your company's operation and administration when the transition from on-site, face-to-face to work from home setup began? Good question.
So this was back in, we're talking about back in March 2020. So back in
Mm-hmm.
March 2020, definitely we are not prepared for a work from home setup then. Full disclosure, ADP is not a work from home company. We do not have plans of being a full work from home company, even despite the situation. The thrust is still to go back to the office eventually. So when March 2020 happened, those that already had devices were asked to automatically work from home. Those that didn't have devices stayed at work, were either shuttled to work or were housed in the hotels nearby the area. But slowly, the transition moved. So, one by one, people were given devices. One by one, people were moved to working from home. Until eventually, if my math is correct, by July of 2020, we were already at quote unquote work from home capacity. The company was very generous during that time, is still very generous until now with regard to the support that they provide for work from home employees and even on site employees. On site employees right now are provided their sanitary and safety needs. If they are there on site, of course, they are provided masks, sanitizers. They are discouraged from going out for food, so they are encouraged to stay in to eat. So the pantry is full forced and all that. For those that are off-site, we are provided needs if we do contract COVID. There's COVID support for us. So the transition was slow and difficult, but effective. Slow and steady, as they say.
All right.
I hope that answers it.
Mhm. Okay. So, thank you, ma'am. So, another question po is, ask ko lang po, what if po sa inyo nag-OJT, is there a possibility po na ma-absorb po kami?
Um, we cannot guarantee anything at that level. What we do open are opportunities for application. So if you are an intern and you already see how the company does its work and there are openings that will fit your preference, then you're free to apply. The advantage of you being an intern and then applying to ADP is that you know the business. That in itself will put you at a better position compared to other people who are just encountering ADP the first time. But otherwise, unfortunately, there's no guarantee for that.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. And another question is, um, can we apply for part-time in ADP? Do you have part-time jobs, ma'am, while studying daw po?
At present, there are no part-time opportunities. So
So,
everything, all the openings are for
full-time.
hours per day, 8 to 9 hours per day, 5 days a week.
And of course, another is, pwede rin po ba ang operations management sa operations support kahit hindi po HR or psych?
Yes, so we're open to all courses. We have, I mean, I myself am AB English. So,
Mhm.
hindi ako HR, hindi ako psych. Um, English yung BA ko. So, open to all courses so long as you're willing to explore the opportunity, willing to learn, willing to consider. It's a very diverse company with diverse people. So, everyone is welcome to apply.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And another po is, do you have programs for the stress management of your employees? Just curious po.
There are seminars for health that are being done We have what is called lunch and learn. Ay, promotion. Okay. So we
Mm-hmm.
have what is called lunch and learn, wherein our learning and development team would invite guests on a sometimes weekly basis to discuss different topics. So some of those topics include physical health, mental health, stress management. This is also done virtually right now. Before it was in person, syempre, but this is also done virtually right now. There are also fun topics like aerobics classes, mga
Mm-hmm.
weight management, o di ba,
Wow.
kailangan ganyan kasi medyo tumataba tayo ng konti. So, yun. So, there are our engagement teams, which is also under HR, are very active with regard to making sure that not only the physical health of our um, associates are taken care of, but also the mental health of our
All right.
associates.
Okay. So, another ma'am, ito naman more of advice kesa question. So, hello, Miss Potch. Do you have any words of encouragement po for fresh graduates, interns, or those who doesn't have any work experience pa? Thank you po.
Like, I guess it boils down to being open and being flexible. Um, and this also works for everyone, whether you be fresh grad, shifter.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of shifters right now. Those who came from other industries, but because of the pandemic, they lost their opportunities, so they're now shifting to the BPO KPO industries. But particularly to fresh grads and interns, be open to all possibilities and be flexible. If you limit yourself to what you want, it's a good thing to focus. Focus is good. But if you're too focused on just one thing, then you will not be open to other opportunities. For example, if you apply to ADP and then you say, gusto ko IT lang a-applyan ko, wala na akong ibang a-applyan kundi IT lang, then you disregard the other opportunities that are there for operations, for payroll. What if you fit and what if it works, right? So, um, be open, be flexible, be willing to learn, be willing to explore, and read the job descriptions because when you apply, the job descriptions will actually be helpful in giving you a glimpse in what the job is. So it will make you be better informed in deciding on whether or not the job is for you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So, another ma'am, do you also assist with the training and development of the onboarded applicant and other HR needs of the companies you're affiliated with, other than recruitment and compensation administration?
Are we talking if we're talking about operations, there are teams that take care of that. If we're talking about shared services like what we do for the Philippines, then yes, definitely.
Mhm. All right. Okay. So, meron pa bang question, guys,
Not sure
from
if
the
the answer was
audience?
tama, but hopefully I did.
Ay, ayun. So, from Miss Bond, so what is the assurance po that we will be working at home and not on-site?
No
Sigurista na,
assurance.
sigurista.
Paulit-ulit ko siyang sinasabi. We are not legally um, bound to assure anyone anything because
Mhm.
everything is so flexible. I think I speak for all of the companies here that will participate today. We cannot guarantee anything right now, just as the government cannot guarantee anything. Just as the scientists cannot guarantee anything. Everything is so fluid. Protect yourself, get vaccinated. That's the best way to protect yourself. But unfortunately, to the person who asked the question, if I can guarantee work from home, I cannot. It's available right now for some business units. But like what I mentioned, if there is a need to go to the office, whether for training or for actual work, and it is something that you can accommodate, then that is something that we will have to do. And it applies to everyone, including myself as an HR person. That's also applicable to us.
Lalo na ngayon po 'no, na bumababa na yung kaso and pabago-bago ng level na naman. So,
Yes.
may
I think
possibility nga na
level 2 na yata ngayon. So,
yes
yeah.
ma'am, level 2 na
Yes,
tayo.
there.
Ayan, so I think parang naulit lang yung question. So, does your HR internship is limited for HR students only po?
Not limited to HR students, but the opportunity is limited to HR tasks at the moment.
All right. So, good day, ma'am. Do you think it is an advantage to work from home during our internship?
Um, I cannot answer that fully because the advantage of working from home will depend on the situation that you are in. Best example, we have associates who are actually deciding to work in the office because wala silang space sa bahay, mahina yung internet nila sa bahay, nagtatakbuhan yung mga bata, maingay yung aso. So, the advantage of it will depend on your situation. With regard to internships, it's the same thing because for me,
Mm-hmm.
to be an intern is to be like you are working. So if it will be effective for you, then it works. Will it limit your experience? I think given the situation, there will be limitations, but it will not take away from the experience.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, okay. So, I think, ayan. So, guys, don't worry. Yung ibang questions nyo, i-ask natin sa susunod na speaker. So, ready na yung susunod natin speaker. And last na lang, ma'am, your advice po, tips for the graduating students.
I mentioned this already earlier. Be open, be flexible, read the job descriptions. Don't limit yourself because if you are too tunnel vision, then you miss out on the opportunities outside what is possible.
All right. So, thank you so much, Miss Potch. Thank you so much po for joining us today. So, we wish to have you on our next set of webinars po. Ingat, Miss Potch. Ingat po.
Thank you. Please stay safe, get vaccinated and boosted, guys. Wow.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye po. All right. So, guys, if you're interested to apply at ADP, you may visit jobs180.com/ADP. Okay. So, again, that's jobs180.com/ADP. All right. So, for our second speaker today, so shifting to a digital career. So, he is a registered nurse from 2010 up to present and worked as team leader and regional business manager in two international executive search firms. He has years of experience recruiting in IT industry for APAC-based institutions and managed specialized teams of recruitment consultants and guided them to be successful in their chosen niche. So he has an orthodox approach in internal and external recruitment, providing bigger pool of prospects and hires to the company. The senior recruitment coordinator from Cognizant Philippines Talent Acquisition Group, Mr. Aaron Mitchel Medina Ancheta, RN. Hi, Sir Aaron. Good morning po.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
All right,
It's nice
sir.
to be with you all in this webinar. So, my name is Aaron, and I work in Cognizant Philippines.
All right.
Um, yeah, can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir. It's loud and clear. Sir, can we test your share screen po?
Sure. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Okay. Can you put it in full screen po?
There.
All right, sir. It's off. So if you're ready, sir, I leave it to it po. I'll see you after 20 minutes for the Q&A. Good luck, Sir Aaron.
Thank you so much. Yes. So, again, I'm Aaron, and I work for Cognizant Philippines. I'm a senior recruitment coordinator there. And I will be discussing today why we should all consider shifting into a digital career. So let's get digital now. Before it's let's get physical. Now it's let's get digital. So before COVID-19, uh, you know, we were just doing any dilly-dally task, no, especially on our daily lives. But since you know the pandemic struck, everything has changed. A lot of things change, not just at work, not just in school, but also in the you know simple things that we do every day. So things change on how we socialized. We used to uh, meet up with friends, relatives, especially on occasions that we are allowed to visit some friends or relatives. You know, during birthdays, weddings, etc. Uh, Things also change on how we shop. We usually went to stores to buy clothes, shoes, bags, commodities, and for seeing it physically, we can easily judge if it's worth the money or not. you know. You can actually try out some sizes, try the commodity itself as you see it. It was very easy back then. Things also changed on how we work as an employee. Before COVID struck, it was very easy for me to discuss among my team members a lot of things that I need to impart with them, especially strategies, uh, career improvement, advice to my colleagues. But recently, everything is done via any virtual platform, audio, video, sharing platforms. So personally, I believe there is a challenge in terms of communication among your colleagues. And also, there are changes on how we study school. So, learning before has a wide array of learning mediums for each unique learners. There are some students who learn faster when they experience it. There are some students who learn faster when when they hear it firsthand. But recently, schools, well, unfortunately, when the pandemic started, we had to make do for some gaps. Like we need to make use of modules. We need to make use of online video sharing platforms, etc. So there are a lot of changes, especially in the academy. And also, in the healthcare industry, way back 2019, I was actually hospitalized now, and it was very easy for me to get access, to my doctors. If I need a consultation, I'll just go to his clinic, and then I'm done. No, right now, if you get sick, it will be very difficult for you to visit the hospital or even the clinic because they will require you to do a lot of tests. They will require you to bring a lot of documents, etc. So uh, there are a lot of challenges, no? Kaya mahirap magkasakit sa panahon na to. And there are also some changes on how we apply for a job. Before, applicants can actually go to a physical job expo where they can just uh, give out their CVs, their resumes to multiple employers, and within that day, they can actually be hired. But recently, since you know, we are not allowed to go out all at once and go to a place, and exceed their maximum capacity. Job expos now are a thing of the past, actually. Uh, well, we'll discuss that later. No. So when the pandemic started, it actually transformed all businesses from doing bricks into doing pure clicks na nga eh. So um, it may have posed a lot of challenges, but it also opened up a lot of opportunities. No, in terms of technology, we took a quantum leap because we have to, in order to overcome this challenge that we are facing. Uh, it may be as daunting as it may seem, but there are a lot of new job opportunities out there. If you are planning to, start your career, if you want to start a digital career. So my question to you guys is, what's your game plan? You know? from the period where we do we do things manually to this period that we are doing things digitally. No, so have you ever thought about it? Were you used to do things manually? I mean, what's your game plan? So I have some things to discuss with uh, incoming graduates. No? If you're a student who would be entering the professional world soon, you should research on the following topics. No? First, your industry landscape now. If you're an IT incoming graduate, you should know what's the trend, what's the upcoming technologies, uh, latest industry trends rather. And also, you should research on the latest industry tools and technology. And last, industry-wide forecast. Why do you need to do forecasting? Um, it's because for you to it's for you to prepare for what's coming. If let's say your forecast tells you that AI will be coming to the Philippines in the next 5 years, then starting from now, you should do your research in AI. You should attend some trainings, webinars, etc. that relates to AI. So that's it. Um, for fresh graduates who are on the verge of landing a job or even now struggling to get one, you should check the following. What skills did you gain from school? Did your school impart subjects or information system subjects? What skills are in demand? Again, you should research on the upcoming technologies and tools. What are the companies where you can utilize and grow your skill set optimally? There are some companies who doesn't have free trainings, no, who doesn't provide free trainings, and there are some companies who actually support employees, for their continuing education. So that is critical. And last, and again, industry-wide forecast for the next 5 years. So the third bullet is very important because most of the companies now are leaning towards digitalization. And if they are not open to provide trainings for that, equipping employees to become digitally prepared, then you would face a lot of challenges, no? Of course, trainings would cost you amount of money. It will cost you a lot of your time, attending webinars, attending trainings, sessions of trainings. So my advice is you find a company who supports continuous education, who provides trainings, and it's okay to have you set a day in a week to train for you to improve on your skill set. So yeah. And for those who are already professionals, for those who already have experience working, I want you to consider the following. First, is my current employer leveraging on technology? Um, if your current employer is not yet doing something regarding digitalization, uh, well, for me, that's a red flag because uh, it's a race, no? Among all companies. Uh, well, digitalization will definitely boost and accelerate your business. No? So why not invest in technology. So if your current employer is still doing it manually, even it's pandemic, not investing on new softwares, new platforms to actually improve your workflow, then I think that's a red flag. Second bullet would be, do you have trainings for new tools and techs? Of course, businesses will continue to innovate and improve the workflow. And to improve the workflow, uh, they will be investing in new tools and technologies. And you should consider if your company is actually giving, free trainings for that. Third bullet would be, what are your transferable skills? Um, Transferable skills meaning these can be soft skills, like communication skills, uh, uh, teamwork, etc. But transferable skills may also indicate your manual skills turning into a digital skill. So there. If you have those transferable skills, then definitely, um, a digital career is a good way to go. And fourth bullet, are you ready to learn again? Are you interested to learn again? Because shifting into a digital career is quite challenging because, like what I said earlier, in terms of technology, we took a quantum leap. And there are a lot of new platforms readily available for us, and it's just up to us when we will learn those platforms, when we will learn to navigate those platforms, no? So it will take a lot of time for you to master each new platforms. So are you ready to learn those new technologies? And then the last one is, how can your network help? Of course, um, probably before, when you're applying for a job, you're just doing it yourself. You're just sending out CVs to HR people, to the recruiters. Sometimes you go to the office itself and just drop your CV, and you see it effective. But since the pandemic started, um, people also learn to leverage on their network. Especially, there are a lot of um, programs in other companies who encourage employee referrals. No, actually, employee referrals, it's a really great help for companies to fill in their vacancies. So you might as well check on your current network if they have an opening, a digital career opening in their company. So going back to the fourth bullet, are you ready to learn again? So my sole advice to all three categories, incoming graduates, fresh graduates, and those who have experience already, is um, you must find out what is trending in your industry. Whether you're studying HR management, whether you're studying psychology, or you're in the IT or computer science course, you should always anticipate what's coming in your industry. Like what I said earlier, do an industry forecast. So if you already know what's coming in your industry within the next 5 years, are you ready to learn it? So next, um, wait, hold on. There. Know what is trending. So I'll give you at least three trending topics in the IT industry right now. And I think these three topics will be evident in other industries in the next coming years. Sorry. So first is artificial intelligence. Now, I believe that you heard these terms in the previous years. Artificial intelligence is gaining it's gaining its speed in terms of acceptability in all companies, not just here in the Philippines, but in the whole world. Artificial intelligence helps business owners come up with a decision based on data. You know? So, in order for us to understand more about AI, or artificial intelligence, I will be playing a video. So let me know if you cannot hear the audio of this video. So let's watch.
Cognizant AI presents Winning with AI. Transforming retail.
Good morning, Michelle. I have two updates. Due to traffic problems near the downtown store, a drop in customer foot traffic is expected. I recommend deploying 3 downtown staff to our uptown location, and today's revenue will increase by 8% at no additional cost.
Confirm.
Secondly, 2 trucks broke down overnight and will take 4 hours to repair. If we rent replacement trucks this morning, we can keep all of our shipments on time with a small cost. Would you like me to arrange the rentals?
Send.
I've also scheduled the spring planning session.
Oh, you're good.
With evolutionary AI, business leaders quickly understand what's happening, why it happened, and receive proactive ways to stay ahead. Evolutionary AI augments business decision-making. It identifies problems, opportunities, and generates multiple decision strategies that understand the available resources and how to deploy them for maximum results. Leaders now optimize to achieve their objectives and harness AI to design the best possible implementation. Evolutionary AI models a business and tests strategies to anticipate the likelihood of success. It understands constraints and can even prescribe the right spend to connect the right customer across every channel. Are you ready for AI?
So there. As you saw in the video, AI really helped the retail businesses. Uh, well, well, I can say AI can help each industry. No? How AI works is you gather data from lots of sources, and then AI will be analyzing all those data, and then will give you outputs. It will actually identify challenges. It may identify challenges. It also may identify new opportunities, and it will actually give you data that you can use to actually uh, optimize each decision uh, in order for you to come up with the best possible solution to your challenges. No? So that's how AI is transforming the retail business, and even in the other industries like healthcare, pharmaceutical, banking, etc. So there, that's AI. Next up would be digital experience. So AI was it's actually the majority of AI is actually back end. No, so let's go to the front end side of things. Digital experience is um, well, to cut this short, it's how the customers or the consumers see your platform, no? And how will their experience be using your platform. So we have IT consultants working on those front end developers, web developers, and mobile developers, and they always innovate on the best ways to have the platform users engage. They rely also on data from feedbacks coming from the customers or the consumers in order for them to improve the platform itself. So there's another video on why designing a good digital experience matters. So let's watch.
Cognizant is at the forefront of designing the digital experiences that are becoming part of our everyday lives. We use human insights based on social science to create smart products and services. We apply AI and analytics to consumer experiences and deliver content to the right person at the right time through any device. We've helped a major auto manufacturer redesign the car experience and their long-term business plan.
Reserve parking. Parking spot reserved. Traffic ahead. Choose alternate route.
Yes.
And modernize the retail experience for companies, employees, and customers with products and services that keep users connected.
Connect to home.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, everything you touch, Cognizant is bringing the digital economy to life.
So, so there. Yeah, digital experience. No, you saw in the video how it actually helped the consumer to easily decide on what to get. No? It actually matters as a layperson. No? In layman's perspective, uh, which of the two platforms would be easier for you to shop? When you use Shopee or when you use Lazada? Which one is more user friendly? So uh, that's where digital experience comes in. No? The more complicated the process will be for the consumers, and the less likely they will be using your platforms. Of course, they will use the more user friendly platform, and that's where digital experience team comes in. They will actually get feedback from consumers and improve the front end processes that the consumers usually face. So there. And uh, intelligence process automation is actually a combination of AI, digital experience, and all other technologies. And it's actually a hot topic now in the IT industry, especially in the US. IPA, or intelligent process automation, actually helps a lot of organization to be more efficient, be more productive, and anticipate future challenges and opportunities. No? And from there, they can actually formulate strategies and come up with a very positive decision to improve the organization itself. So I have one last video for IPA there. This is the reason why you should consider shifting into a digital career, because in the next coming years, or even the next coming decades, there will be less manual jobs and there will be more digital jobs, because there is automation, and automation might actually replace a lot of jobs. So let's watch this.
Stop. Is this really what you want to do? Sit there and enter data while the world outside enters the next millennium? Or would you rather join it? You should be adapting, evolving, reimagining the way people interact with everything from banking to insurance to healthcare to really anything. You should be improving your customers' experience and your employees' life experience. You should be taking your business operations from good to better to the very best there ever was. Don't worry, the busy work will still be there. You just won't see it. Say hello to IPA. This isn't just any ordinary automation, because IPA learns every time it automates. So what's fast today will be faster tomorrow, giving you the freedom to take this and turn it into this or this. And did we mention this? While you're busy doing the work of a human, it's mining through trillions of interconnected data points and analytics all the way back from, say, 0.003 seconds ago. Think fast. That unlocks critical insights that empower you to think bigger. No, bigger, bigger. Want to keep going? Because IPA won't just simplify and inform, it'll augment your abilities, tapping into your unrealized potential, allowing you to fundamentally challenge the very limits of space, time, and business operations. With IPA, everyone in your company, at every level, becomes more than just a game changer. They become game definers. Yep, even that guy. And getting there is easier than you think because you can team up with us, a market leader who's been here many times and knows each journey is unique. A partner who won't just show you the path, but will walk alongside you every step of the way. A partner who knows that to become the best version of yourself, all you need is to break from the routine and break through to the future.
So there. Uh, well, this video actually emphasizes on doing things manually rather than doing things digitally. Uh, I can give you an example. If you saw earlier, I have an RN at the end, the end part of my name because I'm a registered nurse. And I worked before in Singapore, where technology is actually advanced compared here in the Philippines. And uh, I can actually say that if you have a background on healthcare technology, it will be easier for you to work in first world countries like Singapore, in countries which has advanced technology. I remember before that in working here, working as a nurse here in the Philippines, it would actually take up a lot of your time doing manual stuff like recording all the vital signs, recording all the medications, even reporting to the doctors will take a lot of your time. But there in Singapore, everything is actually automated. Everything is reported over the internet. Even if the doctor is not in your facility, they can actually access your records, the patient's records, through a website or through an app. That's using the technology of well, front end technologies, uh, data warehousing, data technology, and 5G. You know, they can access data anywhere, anytime. So there. So instead of doing manual stuff like encoding data and you know traditionally talking doctors face to face, you can actually make things simpler and more efficient, using technologies. So there. Those are some trending topics available, in the market right now, which you can actually consider researching on. And if you really would like to shift into a digital career, you should learn a thing or two about the new technologies. So where does Cognizant come in? So let me discuss first about our company. So Cognizant is one of the world's leading professional services companies, transforming clients' business operating and technology models for the digital era. So we innovate to find a better way for businesses who depend on us, and also the customers who rely on these businesses, and the communities who count on us on. And how do we modernize businesses? So at Cognizant, we're all about helping today's businesses elevate their customer experiences and enhance their products, people, and processes. What I said earlier, it's a race, and we help companies to get ahead of their competitors. Actually, by utilizing or maximizing the available tools that may fit their business models. No? So, just numbers for Cognizant. Last year we are at 185 at Fortune 500. number 533 on Forbes Global 2000, number 483 on Forbes Best Employers for Diversity, 12 years consecutive in Fortune's Most Admired Companies, number 63 on Forbes Top 100 Digital Companies, and number 19 on Forbes World's Best Employers. And in Cognizant Philippines, these are our values: client focus, empowerment, passion, collaboration, transparency, and integrity. And for the global offices here, we start with a point of view. We always apply our expertise to gain trust and lead our clients forward. Seek data and build knowledge. Of course, we guide our actions through data, and we always strive, never settle. We always we always improve, we always innovate, and we always work as one. And of course, we do the right thing the right way. So our purpose, we engineer modern businesses to improve everyday life, and our vision is for every choice that we make, uh, it must align to our vision, which is to become the preeminent technology services partner to the world's top companies. So we have two main locations. In NCR, we have the Taguig site. It's in McKinley Hill. And in the Visayas region, it's in Cebu, uh, Skyrise 4 building. So yeah. What are the opportunities that Cognizant have for you? So here's another video on how Cognizant can actually boost your uh, digital career aspirations. So let's watch.
Having been founded only a quarter century ago, Cognizant hasn't simply kept pace with the world's shifting technology needs. We've shifted ahead of them, engineering modern business to improve everyday life. Since 1994, we've rapidly ascended to the ranks of the world's top enterprise technology organizations, expanding to 270 plus global offices, hiring nearly 300,000 employees, and earning recognition year after year as trusted advisors in digital innovation. To stay on top, we work with the brightest minds, those that provide a fresh take on the future of technology and transform it by engineering for the modern business. Today, we form our strategy around four battlegrounds: data, digital engineering, cloud, and IoT. They help us to not only lead our customers forward on their digital journeys, but also to map our own way to ensure success. Our path into the future is clear. End to end, we help to explore technology needs, understand and define user journeys, conceive groundbreaking new initiatives, and deliver superior solutions. Our collaborative, agile delivery model enables our teams to innovate at speed and scale and make a real impact on the industry. We don't just build, we transform while we perform, engineering modern business to improve everyday life. Cognizant's next step will help drive forward the future of digital. What's your next step?
So there. Um, we actually encourage, well, as what Miss Potch mentioned earlier, what HR or recruiters are looking for in a candidate is their flexibility. No? Flexibility in terms of learning as well. Um, in Cognizant, we encourage learning. I believe Cognizant is a learning institution, and since it focuses on technology, um, we encourage even us HR people are encouraged to learn more about the new topics, the new tools and technologies that we can use in the future. No? So for those who would like to explore jobs in Cognizant, here are some opportunities with us. So in the video earlier, it mentioned data, digital experience, cloud, and 5G IoT. So currently in the Philippines, we have the data part and the digital experience part. Uh, uh, well, we also have the cloud service lines, but I did not include the openings here yet. So in AI and analytics, we have Informatica developer, business intelligence developer using Tableau or Power BI, Python developers, Azure from Microsoft, and AWS from Amazon, data engineering and data architecture and big data management. So for quality engineering and assurance, we have manual testers, functional testers, and automation testers. Digital engineering, we have Java developers, core Java, .NET developers. For digital experience, for the front end side of things, we have Angular developers, Node developers, React developers, Drupal developers, and also mobile developers, Android and iOS. So there. We also have digital business operations. We have video sharing account, medical equipment account, retail account, financial technology account, or fintech account, cloud computing account, insurance account, and life sciences. We are actually hiring PHRNs, USRNs, RPH, and other allied health courses. No? And for the work sites of the DBO or the digital business operations, we have QC, Taguig, Alabang, Bataan, and Cebu. There. So for the benefits, of course, the company would actually shape your career. You know, if you would like to uh, rotate into something more challenging, we actually support that. No, learn and grow. There are a lot of available training platforms, training mediums in Cognizant. Since we are a technology company, uh, we are updated on the current trends, no? And we upskill on those. And there are also some outreach programs. We have groups actually in Cognizant who do outreach to give back to our communities. We stay healthy. No? We also have HMOs and insurance packages, and we also have groups, no, who uh, actually foster and encourage being healthy. And last, to invest in yourself. No, plan for the future with our compensation and benefits packages, including holidays. So there, you can actually see our job openings in jobs180.com. So just visit jobs180.com/cognizantph. And you can see a lot of job openings right now in IT and in our shared services. And last, this is a quote from Sebastian Vettel, who is a Formula One driver from the Aston Martin Cognizant Formula One team. So when the boat started shaking, we stayed on course and didn't lose focus. That made the difference. So it's the same thing when the pandemic started. Even when the boat started shaking, we should always stay on course and don't lose focus. And it will make a really, really big difference. That's it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Aaron. So, since we are time bounded, I'll be asking two to three questions po. So, I
Sure.
have questions here now from the students. So, first, okay, here. So, good day, sir. I'm just curious lang po, you are a registered nurse. What made you decide to shift on work in the industry you belong now? Do you have any advice for those who also wanted to shift careers in the future? Thank you and have a nice day.
That's actually a good question, and it's a question that's typically asked, no, sa akin. Well, I worked in Singapore, as I mentioned earlier, and I saw in that country that everything is going digital. Even in the airport, no,
Mhm.
the when you check in, you're not going to talk to a person. You're going to a kiosk to actually check in your stuff. So
Mm.
there are a lot of people who lost their jobs because of that, and I thought that um, you know I might as well consider something else, something digital. And well, if you might ask, as a nurse, I can actually try nursing information systems, but I'd rather invest and learn more about how to manage those tools that we use. You know? So that's why I started recruitment, IT recruitment, to be specific, in order to learn more about the IT industry and um, slowly and steadily learn more about the new tools and technology. Uh, if you're going to ask me why I shifted from being a nurse to a recruiter, that's a different story and it would take a lot of time. So I hope I answered your question.
All
Um,
right.
sorry, advice for those who also wanted to shift. Have the courage to shift, no, because it's already here. Digitalization is already here, and if you are still hesitant, then baka mapag-iwanan kayo. So as early as now, I encourage you guys to learn more about technology and how your industries leverage on these technologies.
All right. Okay. So next, sir, contemporarily, companies now are investing for technology. As you have said din po, it's a leverage. Moreover, on the other hand, it could lessen the job duties of our working employees. What do you think are the disadvantages of this? Could it be a factor for downsizing?
Yes, it's actually a factor for downsizing. However, it should not be a challenge to us employees because, like what I mentioned earlier, we should expect that in the next coming, 5 decades,
Mm-hmm.
around 60 to 70% of manual jobs will be gone. And well, my advice is for you to learn new technologies and tools so that you're on the back end of that tool. No, you're not going to be on the front end anymore. You're not going to be the user anymore. Uh, you should learn on how that tool works. In order for you to sustain a job in the next coming decades. So if it's a factor for downsizing, yes. The disadvantages would be if your employer does not support you in learning more about those tools. No? You could be retrenched. Mga ganun. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, there.
Mm-mm. Actually nga sir, nakaka-sad nga 'di ba, especially for the
Yes.
blue collar jobs 'no. And, well may maganda naman siya talaga, may positive side naman talaga siya na nandun na tayo, paakyat na tayo. Pero yun nga, sa ibang kababayan natin, parang yun. So ayun, so I think that would be all. So guys, don't worry, your questions, will be asked later for our, last speaker. So medyo ano lang tayo sa oras, pero don't worry, ma-ask natin yan later. So thank you so much, Sir Aaron. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
maraming
much.
maraming salamat po for joining us today. We wish to have you on our next set of webinars. Sayang marami pa kaming questions, pero sana sa susunod na, guest niya, sir, guesting niya, ma-ask natin yan din.
Surely.
So thank
Thank
you so
you
much,
so
Sir
much.
Aaron. Ingat po. All right. Okay, so let's proceed now with our last, speaker for today. So we have the sourcing manager from Transcom. So you may ask lahat ng questions nyo na ngayon kay Sir, Mark guys. So he has been working in recruitment for the past 10 years, and according to him, each hire they make always brings him great joy. Wow. So again, the sourcing manager of Transcom, Mr. Mark Anthony Denila. Hi, Sir Mark. Good morning.
Morning, Kim. Good morning to everyone. Nice to see you again, Kim.
Ah, yeah, Joyce, sir.
Oh, Joyce pala, sorry.
Ready na si Sir Mark. Ayan, Sir Mark, di natin patatagalin. Your screen is up po, so I'll leave it to it po. I'll see you after 20 minutes. Good luck, sir.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Joyce. So, again, good morning to everyone, and I hope everyone is safe and can hear me clearly. So, again, my name is Mark Anthony Denila, and I'm one of the sourcing managers of Transcom. So, today I'll discuss communication skills, tips on how to improve our com skills. Okay, so simple definition of communication skills is it's our ability to convey information and ideas effectively, and also vice versa. If someone relays information to us, it's how we process the information and give feedback to the sender of the communication of the idea. No, so why is it important that we have good communication skills? So of course, first with our personal life, It will give us good relationships with our family. Later on, pag may mga asawa na tayo, of course, di ba, as what they've said, communication is one of the key for a successful marriage. Same with our careers. We need to have good communication skills to relay or to be successful in our chosen field. And then once we have good relationships with the people that surrounds us, it will give optimal daily functioning in our lives, which also leads to less stress. And among employers, good communication skills is one of the most sought skill, according to a study. And it's definitely true that employers would prefer applicants and employees with good communication skills. So on the next slide, so first, we need to know what are the barriers in effective communication. So first, physical. So example, distance. So let's say you're trying to communicate to a person which is far away from you. So with that barrier, you need to adjust, right? So you need to be flexible. So it's either you increase the sound of your voice so that he or she can hear you, and also, one of the things under physical, or one of the examples, is technology right now, right? So everyone is going digital, and we have to use virtual platforms to communicate. So with that in mind, there are factors that affects communication when we're using this technology, like the internet speed, and so with that, you need to ensure that your voice is loud and clear. So next would be perceptual. So when you say perceptual, these are preconceived ideas. So example, in school, right? So let's say, oy, si Dean, medyo strict yan. So if you want to say something, medyo kinakabahan ka na. It's because, oy, strict to yan si Dean natin. So instead of sharing your thoughts and ideas, it will prohibit you to speak up. So yun yung sa perceptual. Emotional. So emotion can affect on how we deliver ideas and our thoughts. So the key here is confidence. So we need to have the confidence to have our emotions in check, and negative feelings can sometimes cloud our judgment, which would affect on how we convey ideas, right? So the key here is confident to deliver your thoughts and ideas, and keeping your emotions in check, especially if you're anxious, if you're scared during your first interview. So you need to control those. Third would be I'm sorry, fourth would be cultural differences. So once you start working, I think even in school, right, in your school right now, so there's a diverse group of people coming from different cultures, also in the workplace. So we need to understand the cultural differences, and by being aware or being conscious or sensitive with the cultural differences, then we can manage our approach on how we communicate to that certain group of people, right? To different kinds of people coming from different backgrounds. Fifth would be language. So it's the way people speak. So it could be a barrier as well, especially right now with this generation. We have different lingos, right? Different terms, yung mga ibang words, yung shortcut na natin. There are a lot of words right now being used in social media that I myself doesn't understand what it means, and I have to ask somebody like, ano bang ibig sabihin nito, right? So in a workplace, you need to be professional. So we need to use um, professional words, right? So para at least for the recipient to understand what you're saying. Sixth would be gender. Gender can be a barrier as well. So male and female have different styles in communicating, right? So we need to understand that. And by understanding this style, then we'll be able to um, have a good communication with the opposite gender. And last would be interpersonal. So with interpersonal, it's more on our inability to make connection. So these factors with this would be poor self-esteem, and the key here would be small steps to build confidence. So confidence is important key here as well. So in order to do that, you need just to start, taking small steps, speak in simple words until such time that you will master the craft. Okay. So, what are the top 10 communication skills? So, number one would be, of course, active listening. So, there's a difference between hearing and listening. So, in listening, you process the information being conveyed to you, and it applies also to speaking. No, so in order for us to speak well, listening would be an important key. Second would be communication method. So right now, as what I've mentioned earlier, so with everything that goes digital, so we need to be familiar and to be with the different methods that we're using right now, different apps, different platforms. So we need to be familiar about that so that we'll be able to use it effectively. Number three, it's friendliness. So it doesn't mean that well, it's good if you're really friendly, but if you talk, if you smile, if you're smiling when talking, it gives a good impression. Okay, and again, as what I've mentioned several times, confidence, being confident in speaking, really will improve your communication skills. And fifth would be sharing feedback. So once you process the information being given to you, then of course you need to reply to that sender. So sharing feedback is very important as well as receiving feedback. So sometimes the communication that we convey, the recipient wouldn't agree on that. So we need to have an open mind that when they give feedback, we're open to it. And volume and clarity of voice. So volume of course, we need to have a strong, confident tone in order for you to gain the trust and confidence from the person that you're speaking with. And empathy, so you need to understand also, no, you need to understand the feelings of the person that you're talking to. So with that, you'd be able to manage the communication that you want to relay. Same then, one type of communication is written, right? So if you're like writing an email, you need to read that email and try to feel what the message, what the receiver or the reader will feel if he or she will read that email or that message. And respect, of course, going back to the barriers of effective communication. So there's like cultural differences, gender, right? It could be a barrier. So the key there is respect. So be sensitive and be conscious with the differences, and with that, we'll be able to manage our on how we handle ourselves in communicating with others. Nonverbal cues. So these are expressions that we make when we are communicating with people. So we need to notice what are our tendencies, right? So let's say if we are anxious or we are scared, sometimes some people will tend to shake their knees, right? So we need to notice these tendencies that we have, and we need to control them as well. And responsiveness, like how fast can we respond to a certain idea being conveyed to us. So let's say if it's urgent, let's say if you're working, you receive an email and you need to process the urgency, or you need to understand how urgent is that the email is. So if it's very important, you need to reply right away. Okay. Types of communication. So here, first would be verbal, right? So what's important for the verbal aspect of communication is a confident speaking voice. Of course, active listening is there as well. Avoid filler words and avoid jargons. So, especially pag industry jargons. So, let's say you came from engineering industry and you're talking to a person in the medical industry. If you're gonna speak in the engineering terms, then of course that person from the medical industry wouldn't understand it. So we need to avoid this. So we need to understand the background of the person that we're talking to. Non-verbal. So as what I mentioned, so we need to be aware or to notice how our emotions feels physically, so that we can keep it in check. Be intentional about your nonverbal communication as well. So um, being friendly, so you need to smile, and you need, of course, you need to feel it, that you're, that you're, when you're talking, that when you're smiling, that it comes from within. And there are there are people that we can mimic. So if they have this nonverbal cues that you find effective, then we can, of course, replicate it or mimic it. For visual, if we are preparing for, let's say, slides, for a certain business presentation, or right now when you're studying, right? So if you're reporting and includes having a visual presentation, then you need to consider your audience. Who are the person that will watch my slides? So use visuals that adds value to the idea that you want to convey, and make them clear and easy to understand. And last would be written. So for written communication, strive for simplicity. So always review your message or your email before clicking the send button. And as what I've said earlier, put yourself in the shoes of the reader on how or she will feel and understand the message that you're trying to relay. So tips for improving. So spoken English, no, especially in the BPO industry, is one of the most important factor that we consider in hiring applicants. So first would be, of course, speak, speak, speak. Practice speaking in English. So it's like a musical instrument or any sport, that if you want to be good at it, you need to do it every day or on a consistent basis. So that's that's one of the most important tips that I can give when you want to improve your English language. And of course, listen. So active listening. So if you remember, when we were born in this world, right? So we don't know any language, and how did we learn to speak? Just by listening to our parents. So that's important key. Listen. There's a lot of audio podcast that you can, that you can follow and listen, for you to be able to improve your English language. Reading. So this one way on how to expand your vocabulary. Okay, so read books, English books. Fourth would be think English. So this is one of the most common things that we do. So let's say during an interview, the recruiter will ask you a question. So once you hear that question, before you say your answer, you will think in Tagalog muna. So, di ba? Mag-iisip ka in Tagalog, and then you will process it and translate it into English, and then you deliver it. So sometimes, of course, responsiveness will come in play on how fast you can respond to that question. And if you're thinking in Tagalog and you process it into English, it would it would take time. May buffering done eh. So think in English, and it would be much easier for you to deliver it in English. Use technology. So right now we need to take advantage of the technology that we have, right? So we have the internet where there's a lot of trainings, videos on how to improve our skill, our English skill. In our phones, there's a lot of language applications that can help you practice your English every day. Okay. And six would be watch English films or TV shows. Okay. Without subtitles, please. And then number seven, last would be relax. So just take a deep breath, and you'd be you would be able to speak in English much better. So it's very common for us to be anxious and scared, especially our first interview. But with experience, you will find, or you will notice that it becomes easier, right? So especially if you compare your fifth interview compared to your first interview, so you would really notice the difference with experience. Okay, so just relax. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. So let's say you mispronounce a word or something, you can just rephrase it. Okay. So about our company Transcom, so Transcom is we're one of the global customer experience specialists with 9,000 CSRs and TSRs in the country. So here we have 5 sites in the Philippines. So we have 3 in Manila. So our operations is in Ayala 30th Corporate Center and in Frontera Verde in Pasig. And then we have one site in Iloilo and another in Bacolod. In Davao City, we don't have a site there yet, but we do have work at home agents in Davao. So these are the qualifications, minimum qualifications that we're looking for our CSR and TSR positions, and our employee benefits. For the salary package, that would depend on the experience and on how you did with the assessments during the recruitment process. But for the employee benefits, these are the following, which are the night differential, internet and transportation allowance, HMO on day one, meal and rice allowance. We have our own in-house and online pharmacy, scholarship program, retirement plan, insurances, and free meal and medicine through our Transcom TapCap rewards. We also provide free accommodation and free meals during training, especially for applicants which are far from our site. So right now, we do have work at home positions and on-site positions. We call it brick and mortar positions, which are on-site. So for our work at home agents, training will be done on-site. Then after training, that will depend on their performance. Depends on the account as well. If if you will be given an opportunity to work at home. Okay. And for our recruitment process, of course, you can check our different sourcing channels like our Transcom homepage, different job portals, and our FB page. So there would be a link there, an application link, in which once you click on it, it will direct you to our chatbot in Facebook Messenger, where our chatbot will provide a series of questions, no, to check your qualifications. Now, once you're qualified, you'll be also given another link, which is the higher IQ link or our online assessment. And then once once you click on it, it's a for 30 to 40 minutes, assessment, language assessment. And once you pass our language assessment, our recruitment team will call you for your initial phone interview. And then once you pass your initial interview, you will be given another schedule for your final interview with our operations team. And once you pass the final interview, of course, that would be onboarding. So ideally, again, this is a 1 day process, and everything will be done virtually and over the phone. Okay, so I think that's everything about it. About my slides.
All right. So thank you so much, Sir Mark. Okay. So the floor is now open for questions, guys. So bale may mga iwan tayong questions kanina, sir. So is it okay to ask
Sure.
general questions na lang po yung pipiliin natin? So first from Miss Rolon. So since it's pandemic po, will the job hunting be more challenging for us incoming graduating students, or can we benefit from the situation since we can apply digitally?
Um, with the pandemic, actually, it depends on how resourceful and resilient an applicant is. Actually, I believe all of the companies right now have adapt with the pandemic. So so there's a lot of changes with the process, with the recruitment process, and I would assume that all of our process are done virtually for the safety of our applicants. So if you ask me personally, I think it's an advantage for the applicants right now. It's because they can just be at the comfort of their homes, right? And apply to several companies in day one. Unlike before that you have to travel
Mm-hmm.
and you have to go to different offices just to have that interview. Okay, so I think it's an advantage actually. So since with the technology that we have and different platforms that we use, so I think finding a job is much easier now than before.
All right, thank you, sir. And of course, ito kanina pa 'tong questions ng mga students natin, sir, no? So, they are actually asking for internship. So, si Transcom, sir, may ano po ba siya? Internship po ba siya ngayon?
Um,
And of course, there's a chance po ba to absorb? Ayan, thank you.
Um, yes, we do have an internship and OJTs
Okay, great.
opportunities for students, but during the pandemic, we place on hold on that because, of
Mm,
course, it will um, it requires on-site, right? On-site tasks and responsibilities. But right now, we're on the process of opening it again.
mhm.
So our HR team will start processing internships and OGT. So I think it can be done at work at home as well. But again, that I can't guarantee.
Mhm. Ay. So guys, 'pag may update, don't worry. Pag-check niyo naman ng portal ninyo, school portal niyo. Ayan, mag-update naman sila if ever merong ano, position available,
Yeah.
internship.
And one more thing pala, no? I think she mentioned, as she asked as well, kung may absorption. Yes, of course. There's a
Mhm.
chance of absorption, especially if there's an opening for that position that you would like to apply. And then, of course, if you meet the qualifications, yes, we are open for that as well, or we do that.
Alright. Mhm. Alright, thank you, sir. And another from Miss Patricia, I'm not sure kung merong assessment or may Berlitz assessment si
Mhm.
na Transcom, pero what is the passing score for the Berlitz assessment if you do have, sir?
Okay. So first, our language assessment doesn't include Berlitz, okay? But for Berlitz assessment, it depends on the company. It depends on the company and the account. There are certain accounts that would have a passing score, let's say 7. So for this account, that's our passing score. For this account, mas mataas siya. So it depends on the company, especially on the account, on the client.
Mhm.
But with our recruitment process, we don't have Berlitz.
Great. Ay, parang Berlitz kasi ang isa sa mga pinakamahirap na language assessment, I
Yes.
believe. Ayan. So, another question, sir, from Facebook user. So, cultural relativism is good. My question po is, what are your best practices in communication in order to prevent discrimination? And number two, during an interview, it is okay to answer the questions with simplicity, or is it okay to use jargons you've learned in your field? Example from HR.
Okay. So in terms of cultural differences, I think the key there is awareness, right? So first, of course, you need to be aware of the background of the person that you're talking to. And with that awareness, then you would be able to know how to manage or how to communicate with that person. Okay. Now, during an interview, so that depends on your comfort level. If you want to speak in jargons, if you're talking to an HR and you're applying for, let's say, an IT role, right? Then of
Mm-hmm.
course you can use IT jargons since you're applying for that role. But let's say you're applying for, as what I've said earlier, if you're applying for a medical role and you're talking about jargons of another industry, then I would advise you not to do that.
All right. Okay. So, noted, sir. So, next, good day. Tanong ko lang po kung nag-offer kayo ng part-time job, sir.
Right now, we don't have any part-time jobs, but what we have are seasonal accounts. So in a way, you can
Mm-hmm.
say that it's there's like similarity. So we do have seasonal accounts for some clients, but as we speak, all we have right now are full-time positions. So just you
Mm-hmm.
may check our job portals, different job portals, from time to time, and see if it's available or not.
Mm-mm. And seasonal accounts, sir, usually run from 3 to 6 months, sir. I believe nila po.
Yes.
Ayan.
Yes.
So, I think pwede naman, guys. Kung seasonal accounts, pwede naman natin. And, hi, sir, you mentioned earlier that you have free accommodation if the applicant lives afar from your site. Would this be applicable to all sites you've mentioned? And for how long will there be free accommodation? Thank you.
Yes, yes. As what I've said, we offer free accommodation, especially for successful hires, which lives far from our site. So, how long it will it will be free for during training. So, if your training lasts for 3 weeks, then free accommodation on for 3 weeks. If it's a month, then it's 1 month. So usually training lasts 3 to 4 weeks. So it will give you an ample time to look for your accommodation, which should be near sa site.
Alright. Okay. Okay, next, sir. And given the situation that most interviews are done online, do companies po double their standards po ba? Good question.
Um, I, well, I can speak on behalf of Transcom, but our recruitment team, it's the same standards. So I think the thing with online interview is it has its own cons as well, right? So you just need to ensure that you're familiar
Mm-hmm.
with the app that you or the platform that you will use during your interview. You have a good internet connection. So I think that's where the challenge will be. But in terms of what we want from our applicants, it remains the same.
All right, thank you, sir. Next po, what are the okay. So we all know the importance of speaking, listening, and communication to work effectively. My question, sir, is when is the best time to speak and when it is the best time to listen, especially in a workplace setting? Thank you, sir.
Well, I think it's very fundamental, no? So, just like at home. So, pag sa bahay nyo, you would know when to speak and when to listen if you're talking to your parents. Same goes sa workplace. So, sometimes, no, don't need to complicate things. Actually, we just need to understand it. We go to the basics, right? So if someone's talking, right, so we listen, and then once they're done talking, and then if you feel that you need to say something, then I think that's the right time to speak. So we just need to be polite and courteous. So we just go back to the our basic values, no, good manners, right conduct, GMRC, and you'll do fine.
All right, thank you, sir. Next po, good day, sir. Can you specify the accounts that do have job openings?
Okay, so for Manila, I can't say the actual names of the account, but
Actually, bawal, sir, no? I believe
yes,
bawal po.
yes, yes. But a big chunk of what we're hiring at right now is for an electronics account for a very popular brand na electronics. So that's the
Mm.
big. We also have logistics account in Pasig, but here in Iloilo and Davao, we have other kind of accounts naman. But right
Siguro,
now,
sir,
they're
mm.
yes. But in
Maybe they're
Pasig,
asking if it's, I'm sorry, sorry, sorry.
yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joyce.
I'm sorry. I believe or I think they're asking if it's technical support or. On the
Both,
customer support
both.
side. Mhm.
Customer service representative and technical service representative,
Ayan,
TSRs.
ayan, sir. Okay. So, may question pa ba? One last question, sir, from Miss Mira. Hmm. Also, the disadvantages of being fluent and speaking the language. Really?
I don't think there's any disadvantage of being fluent in speaking the language. If you I think you're referring to the English language, because if
Mm-hmm.
you're fluent, you can just turn it off and on, right? So I think that's an advantage that you can rely on. Especially English is um what we call the universal language, right? So I think it's I don't see any disadvantage of being fluent in speaking English.
Yeah, and I believe it's more of of an advantage. Ayan. So, I think na-ask na ba natin to? Given the current situation po, what could be the advantage of students who graduated online rather than those who finished their studies on a physical classes?
Well, for me, it's the experience. It's the actual experience of of because when you're in school, of course, you have to interact with your classmates, with your teachers, right? So your social skills and will develop your your interpersonal skills. So the experience itself, I think that's one thing that was um that was removed, right, when we're taking online classes. So
Mm,
I think that's the most important thing that na disadvantage with even right now my two sons, right, are taking online classes then. So I think that's one thing, yung yung interaction mo with your classmates, right? So during classes and after classes. So I think that's one thing that is missing with online classes.
all right. So, just to have, meron pa sir, last na yan. So, for the seasonal accounts you mentioned, sir, so do they offer po work from home setup as well, or would this be on site?
Both. So again, I can't guarantee it, but that would depend on your performance during training. Depends on the circumstances, especially with the pandemic, the situation. So, but yes, both. But again, it's not 100% guarantee.
All right. So, I think that would be all, Sir Mark. Thank you so much po. And last na lang, sir, your advice and tips for the graduating students.
So yeah, so for the graduating students, congratulations in advance. So just remember, education doesn't stop at school. Okay, so after you've graduated, so be a sponge, right, to absorb all of the learnings. So yun, don't be afraid to fail, and just ensure every time you fail that you use it as a learning tool for you to improve yourself. So yun, pursuit for continuous self improvement is very important as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Mark. Maraming salamat, Sir Mark. So,
Yes,
ayan,
you're
so
welcome. You're
resident
welcome,
natin
Joyce.
yung speaker, si Sir Mark. So, thank you so
Yeah,
much, Sir Mark, for gracing the event. Thank you so much po for joining us today. We wish to have you again on our next set of webinars. Ingat, Sir Mark.
yeah. Be safe. Be safe to everyone. Bye. Thanks.
Alright. So guys, if wala ng questions, okay, so maraming salamat for joining us today. And of course, do not forget to evaluate this event. The link is flashed on your screen and will also be available at the comment section. So you have two attendance for today, guys. So first po yung registration link na binigay ni Jobs 180. Second is the evaluation link given by um, Sir Armando Matias or from the EOE, okay, department. So please evaluate this event. And of course, we would like to thank each one of you guys for staying all throughout the event. We hope that the webinar helps you be prepared in the world of work. So um, we would like to thank also RTU, especially Mr. Armando Matias, Miss Dolly, for collaborating with Jobs 180 again and again. So we would like to thank also the following sponsors. So we have the XI Optum CO for being our corporate sponsors for this event. You may check out their page for career opportunities, guys, or you may simply visit Jobs 180, www.jobs180.com for more career opportunities. Okay, so please watch out for the next set of webinars we are going to host for, and please check our Facebook page for the topics that will be discussed, and you are welcome, guys, to join in on those sessions too. So program has finally concluded. This is your host, Joyce Katakutan. We will see you soon and have a great afternoon. Ingat po!
The clinical trial market as we know it is about to change. We're revolutionizing the current state aligned to disparate, slow, and often manual processes. Optum's vision is to transform the drug development process to one that is centered and grounded in real-world patient behavior and physician practice. Optum's ability to access this unique network and fold in the strongest data and analytics expertise will enable us to jointly bring life-saving drugs to the patients who need it most. Join us in this partnership to bring our shared vision for real-time, real-world healthcare research for real patients.